everyone, myself Nikun Singhal. I am working as assistant professor at LG Institute of Engineering Technology, LG University. In this today lecture, I am going to discuss about Internet of Things, Introduction to Internet of Things. So let us start. So which are the topics that I am going to cover? The first one, these are the outlines of my presentation. The first one is IoT definitions. You will find many definitions on Google, but I will cover few of them. Then history of IoT, in which you will see evolution of IoT within last 20 years, how IoT works, which are the components of the IoT, applications of IoT. I have covered two applications of IoT, architecture of that, advantages and disadvantages. So these are the topics which are very much useful to all of you to understand what is IoT, how it works, and which are the application and advantage and disadvantage of IoT. So let us start with the IoT definitions. You will find many definitions on the Google. I have covered few of them. What is IoT? Internet of Things, which is a network of different devices and people which are connected to the network. It is a network of physical object or things. Things is nothing but the object which are embedded with electronics, software and certain sensors and network connectivity, which enables them to collect the data and exchange the data over the network. So here you can see in this figure, with the network, different kind of objects are connected. It may be a bulb, it may be a lock, it may be a vehicle, it may be an aeroplane where certain sensors are inbuilt in the engines of the aeroplane. Mobile phone can be also part of Internet of Things. Robotic arm is there, which is also controlled with the network. Remotely you can control. So IoT, Internet of Things, is a connection of different devices and people. You can control anything which is connected to the network from any place. This is a simple definition of IoT. Let us take another one. It is a system of interrelated computing devices, mechanical and digital machines, object, animals and people, which are provided with unique identifier. Everything which is connected to the network, how it will be identified? Those are given certain ID, that is nothing but the UUID, universally UUID number, that is a unique identifiers, and those are having ability to transfer the data over the network without requiring any human to computer interaction or human to human interaction. So it is a system of interconnecting devices may be object, people, animals, okay, anything, and those are identified by means of unique identifier, and those are having ability to transfer, to collect the data and to transfer the data over the network. What is thing in the context of IoT? A thing in the context of Internet of Things is an entity. It may be a physical object that has a unique identifier. As I told you, every object, how we will identify object connected to the network? So by means of unique identifier. So it is a physical object that has a thing, means a physical object that has a unique identifier which has an embedded system, and those are having ability to transfer the data over the network. What is example of that? Heart monitoring implant. Certain sensors, certain things are implanted in the body of the person to monitor the heart pulses, pressure, heart pressure, everything. Internet of Things is a group of interconnected, this is a simpler definition. Internet of Things is a group of interconnecting devices and people in which devices can communicate with each other without human to human intervention. So these are the few definitions related to the IoT. Now let us see the evolution of IoT, that is history of IoT. So Internet of Things has not been around that long. It is since 1999, we can say. In 1999, Internet of Things, the word Internet of Things was first coined by the Kevin Ashton. You can see the image. This person is named as a Kevin Ashton. Ashton used the phrase as a title of his presentation for a new sensor project in which he was working on it. So Ashton used the word IoT as a phrase in one of his presentation or project on which he was working, and then after that word come into the market, that is IoT. Now let us see evolution by year. In 1992, the world's first IoT device was invented in the Carnegie Mellon University. They have invented a vending machine to to remotely control the cold soda. So in 1982, the first IoT device was invented in this university, that is the Carnegie Mellon University. In 1999 and 2000, two things happened. In 1999, as I already mentioned, Kevin Estent used the word Internet of Things. That word come into the market. And in 2000, LG introduced a smart refrigerator, which was IoT based. In 2003, major companies start using the term IoT in the replacement of M2M, that is a machine to machine. Before IoT, machine to machine term was used, but in 2003, major companies which were manufacturing the IoT devices, which were dealing with the IoT devices, were start the term IoT instead of machine to machine. 2008, the IPSO alliance was formed. IPSO means was Internet Protocol for Smart Object Alliance was formed, which is a non-profit organization. What is the function of this? To discover and implement new idea in the field of IoT, and to bring together small IoT companies in the pursuit of wireless standard, to design new wireless standard. So IPSO was formed in 2008 and to implement the new ideas in the field of IoT. 2014, IoT device start using the different kind of sensors. What is sensor? Sensor is a transducer which convert the physical quantity into the electrical quantity, like a pressure, like a temperature sensor, which senses the temperature and it convert into the electrical signal. So major IoT device start using the different sensor. Nowadays, number of sensors are available in the market. Then in Ireland, Dublin, which was the city of the Ireland, becomes the first IoT city. It is a smart city. What is a smart city? In smart city, there are number of facilities are available, like smart water management system, smart education, smart dustbins are there, then smart transportation systems are there, which are all are IoT enabled. In 2017, the US Army Research Laboratory established an alliance to advance the research in the IoT technology for army operation. So in 2017, a US Army start to use IoT as a part of their operation. In 2018, IoT enters in the healthcare and health insurance industries. Nowadays, there are number of wearable devices are available to monitor the health parameters. Okay, this technology allows the healthcare professional to exchange the patient data from remote place. Nowadays, a doctor can monitor the patient from remote place. Patient has to wear certain sensors. By 2021, it is assumed that 50 billion devices will be connected to the internet. Okay, so this is the evolution of IoT, history of IoT. Now, how IoT works? Which are the components of the IoT? So, first component of the IoT is the sensors. How it will capture the data, how it will collect the data. So here you can see different kind of sensor. There is a motion sensor, temperature sensor, pressure sensor. All these sensors are wearable sensors, are available now in terms of wearable devices. Okay, then all these sensors capture the different data. Once the data are captured, those data will be sent to the cloud or server. But how it will be sent cloud? It requires certain medium. It requires connectivity. It may be a wired or wireless connectivity. Okay, so those connectivity is what? That it is a medium for transferring the collected data to the cloud. Once all the data are captured, collected, those data will be stored on the cloud where certain operations, certain algorithm will be run. Okay, and based on that, certain decision will be taken. Once all these data are stored, okay, final result of this data will be available in form of user interface on the mobile app to the user. So these are the four major components. This is the final one is a user interface. These are the four major components of any IoT system. Now let us understand each and every one in detail. So first one is the sensors, devices, object, things. Okay, it is a device that measures the physical input. It is a transducer which converts the physical quantity, which converts the data, which takes the data from the environment, which converts the physical quantity into the electrical quantity. Okay, and this electrical quantity data will be converted into the digital data, which can be interpreted by the computer. There are various type of sensors are available now. For example, you can see here touch sensor, speed sensor, position sensor, motion sensor, light sensor, level sensor, chemical sensor, flow sensor, smoke sensor, leakage sensor. Number of sensors are available nowadays. First, sensor or device. What is the function of the sensor? As I told you, it sensor will collect the every data, very minute data from the surrounding environment. All of this collected data can have various degrees of complexity. Means the data collected by the sensor will be a simpler one, like it is a simple temperature monitoring sensor, or it is a complex data like a video data. Okay, a device can have multiple sensors. Those are inbuilt on a same thing. For example, our phone. Phone is a device which is having a multiple sensor, like a GPS sensor is there, accelerometer is there, camera is there. But our phone does not simply sense the things. Basically, phone is used for communication purpose. Next one is a connectivity. What about the collected data? How that collected data will be sent to the cloud? So the collected data is sent to the cloud infrastructure, but it needs a medium of transport. Okay, the sensor can be connected to the cloud through various mediums of communication and transports, such as cellular network, satellite network, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, WAN, that is a wide area network, low power wide area network, and many more. Okay, so basically sensor requires a connectivity to transfer the collected data to the cloud, and that can be done by this kind of medium. A number of mediums are available nowadays. These are the communication medium: satellite network, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, wide area network. Next one, data processing. That comes on the cloud. Once the data is collected, it gets to the cloud. Software, certain algorithm perform the processing on the acquired data. Okay, this can range from something very simple, such as checking that whether the temperature reading are within the limits. So temperature reading of AC or heater is within the limits or not. If it is in limit, if it is in not limit, then it will give some alarm signal. Okay, it can sometimes also will be very complex one, like identifying the objects like intruders in your house using computer vision on the video. So to finding out the intruders on the video capture, in the video capture. So it performs a very simplex as well as complex task. Certain operations are run on the collected data to perform the task. Next one is a user interface. Information made available to the end user in some way. This can be achieved by triggering the alarm on their phones or notifying through text or emails. Also, users sometimes have interface through which they can actively check in the IoT system. For example, user has a camera installed in his house. He might want to check the video recording, all this speed through a web server. So these are interface. Final part is what? User interface, from which the user can actively see the data, actively capture the data. Okay, user sometimes required to see the real-time data. So this kind of application is required on mobile phone. Next one is the application of IoT. So there are countless application of the IoT. Okay, few application of IoTs which I have mentioned, and we will see details one of them. So building and home automation, it is used. Smart building, smart home. Manufacturing, nowadays industry 4.0 is there. So industries are robotics based. So in manufacturing, in supply chain, it is used for productivity and supply chain. Medical and healthcare system, as I already told you, certain sensor are certain sensor are available in form of wearable sensor. Those sensor collect the data and transfer those data to the doctor. Environmental monitoring to measure certain environmental parameter like temperature, humidity, pressure. Infrastructure management, energy management. Nowadays smart meters are available, so you can see a daily power consumption on your of your home. So these are energy management, that is also based on IoT. Transportation, in transportation what comes in transportation? Traffic control comes, that is also IoT. Then vehicle tracking is also there. Better quality of life for elderly people, as I told you, to assist the elderly people, to monitor the health of elderly people, certain wearable sensors are available. Based on that, his or her data can be monitored and emergency medical services can be provided. So in the field of healthcare, we have biosensor and wearable devices are available, which are used to monitor heart rate, blood pressure, and it will, once those data will be monitored, those data will be sent to the cloud, and based on that, it can automatically alert the doctors. In the field of agriculture, how IoT help? So in the crop monitoring by means of drones, Okay, nowadays drones are available. By means of drone footage, we can find out the disease in the crops. We are having a moisture and soil sensor available, which helps in the conservation of water and maintain the soil balance. Now, what about the smart building and smart house? To make smart building and smart house, IoT is used to centrally manage the light, camera, surveillance, sound detection, smart switches, and locks for the purpose of the security. This helps in the better management of all resources, which requires a less power requirement, less manpower requirement. Now, how IoT helps in the field of education? So nowadays, smart ID cards are available, which automatically takes the attendance while student will enter or leave the school or college. Okay, and it will alert the parents based on that. Smart boards are available also in the school. So in smart boards, allow teacher to display various content, even surf the internet, and as well as the notes and homework on the board is automatically mailed to their parents. So this is an example of this application of IoT in the field of education. There are a number of applications. Now let us take the e-health application of IoT. So here you can see user wears the heart, user use the wearable sensor, that is a heart monitoring sensor and blood pressure sensor. Okay, all these sensor will capture the data. Those data will be captured and sent to the cloud by means of medium Wi-Fi or internet connectivity. Bluetooth is also one of the medium which is used. All this data captured will be transferred to the cloud. Okay, as well as all this data will be connected, will be transferred to the user interface mobile phone. Okay, once those all data will be captured, okay, processing will be done on this data. Okay, and if certain unwanted things will be found, that will alert the doctor. So your doctor will be having a also interface available on his mobile phone, and based on the data available, doctor can provide the diagnosis to the patient. In the case of emergency, okay, doctor can in advance can provide the ambulance service. Okay, so time saving will be there, and emergency services, emergency medical services can be given to the patient, and patient life can be saved. So this is an example, this is a real time monitoring example of patient remotely. Okay, so every time a doctor monitors the patient from remote place. Next one is a smart home. So smart home automation allows user to access the home controller from a smart mobile device anywhere in the world. Say for example, I am in a workplace. Okay, when I left the workplace, I want my room to be cooled up. So what I will do from the workplace, from the mobile phone itself, I will switch on my home, my AC from my workplace. So this is one of the example of smart home. Okay, you can access the smart home application system such as lighting, electrical products. Any electrical product I can control from remote place, cooling or heating system from the application via smartphone, and control every system in your home. Okay, I can also control the intensity of the bulb. I do not need to go to the switchboard to switch on the fan. Okay, I do not need to go do not need to use the remote control to switch on the TV. Okay, everything I can control from my mobile phone. All this object will be connected to the one central processor, that is one microcontroller, and microcontroller will control all these objects. Now moving toward the advantages. Which are the advantages? Ability to access information from anywhere, anytime on any device. So I can I can see the real-time footage of my home from any place. I can control any devices from remote place of my home. Okay, so this is just example. Okay, next one, improved communication between connected electronic devices. Okay, so there is a less human intervention, so the communication will be improved. Transferring data packets over connected network will save the time and money. Automating tasks help to improve the quality of business services. Okay, so business services are enhanced. Okay, it will improve the quality of the business services and reduces the need of human intervention. So human power can be reduced. These are the advantages of IoT. Now, which are the disadvantages? There are some many disadvantages of that IoT. As the number of connected devices increases, more information will be shared between the devices. All the information will be available to the network. So a hacker can steal your information, confidential information, and that is one of the threat whenever we are connected to the internet. As a day by day number of IoT devices are increasing. So enterprises have to deal massive number of IoT devices, maybe millions of IoT devices. So collecting and managing the data of all these devices will be challenging task. If there is a bug in the system, it is likely that if there is errors, if some fault is there, it is likely that every connected devices will be corrected. And since there is a no international standard of compatibility for IoT, it is difficult for devices from different manufacturers to communicate with each other, because there is a still not standards have been developed. Okay, so different devices have different standards. So there will be a difficulty for all the devices to communicate with each other. So these are the disadvantages of IoT. So this is all about for this video lecture. In this video lecture, I have covered introduction to Internet of Things, definition of IoT, different definition I have covered, evolution of IoT, which are the major component of IoT, how IoT works, and two application of IoT have covered, and lastly I have covered advantages and disadvantages of IoT. Hope you enjoy this video. See you soon in the next video of IoT. Thank you.